Hey, everybody.
What up?
It's Monica and Joe.
Breezy.
Pointed the right way.
Man.
How's everybody doing tonight? Sorry we're late.
You know,
It's been a long day.
it has. Actually, today, man, it was like really, really slow, and right at the end of like the last hour at work, because I work at a smoke shop, so I'm like leaning back in the chair, like watching YouTube, and I doze off, and I come to, and this rarely happens, but you remember how like back when you were a kid, whenever you'd wake up and you have no clue where you are or what time or what day it is. I was like, where am I? Oh my God. Like, for a good split second, I was like so confused.
Oh my gosh, I did that just now. Because stupid me, I laid down for like a hot second before the show. And I know better than this. I fell asleep and I woke up like right at 10 o'clock. I was like, oh my God, it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. I had to run in here and let Joe was backstage. That's why we're late. It's because Monica fell asleep. Sorry.
Yeah. I was actually going to text you. I was going to be like, did we fall asleep?
Are we asleep, old woman? Is that what happened? Yes, that's precisely what happened. Old lady Monica fell asleep again.
Yeah, it happens. It's
what
funny how,
is like I fall asleep when I don't want to.
yeah.
And then I promise you that after this show, I ain't gonna be able to fall asleep later.
Right. You'll be wide awake.
Yeah, I'm gonna be wide freaking awake for most of the night now. So
yeah. It's funny how age does that. So it does it with sleep and going to the bathroom. You no longer like have control over it. It's like, now we're going to sleep now. We're going to the bathroom now. Like, you're not gonna wait.
That's what time it is. It's bathroom time.
Yeah, it's no longer up
immediately. You thought you could hold your pee, but no, you need to go pee right now.
Yeah. Drop the groceries and head to the back of the store.
Yeah.
Stat.
My bladder's the size of a walnut now.
Yeah.
So sorry about that, y'all, but we got a good show tonight. Oh, I wanted to talk. So I was telling Joe backstage, today is the 35th anniversary of the Loma Prieta earthquake back in 1989, which, again, I'm old. I was 16 when that happened. And, for those of you who might not know or remember what that is, that was the big earthquake that happened in San Francisco back in 89. It happened during the World Series.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And I remember because I was 16, I was a junior in high school. I remember there were tryouts for I think it was dance or something anyway, I was practicing for tryouts. And I was practicing a dance routine, and I happened to have to I remember the routine too, because you were on the floor and you had to pop up and do something. And I popped up right as the earthquake was hitting, and the floor was rolling. It knocked me off my feet. And it's crazy because I don't know how many people who are listening have ever been in an earthquake, but you can actually hear it before you feel it. You hear the low rumble before you actually feel the earthquake. And I remember hearing it, and it knocked me off my feet, so of course I was feeling it at that point. But yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy time, and it's been 35 years, and that again is crazy to me that it's been so long, because I remember it like it was yesterday. And that was a pretty significant thing, because anytime there's a major earthquake in San Francisco, there's always like the Marina District, there's always buildings that collapse. But this was pretty significant in that the Embarcadero, which is a major freeway, it's a double-decker freeway, pancaked on itself. And that was scary to see. It's scary to see now, 35 years later on the news. And the Bay Bridge, one of the top levels, because again, that's, going out of the city, I think, is the lower deck, and coming into the city is the upper deck. But the upper deck collapsed. One of the sections, collapsed in on it.
Yeah, that's like we were saying, that's the part I remember. But I didn't even realize that the one with the World Series and that one was the same one.
Yeah.
And I don't think I know anybody who's ever been in an earthquake other than you. Like, not that I can recall off the top of my nugget.
Right. And that was like, because I'd been, I grew up out there, so I'd been in a few. I remember the first one I was in, it was in elementary school, and I thought the kid behind me was like playing a joke on me, like rattling my chair. And I remember turning around going, stop it. And he's like, it's not me. And then, you heard the rumble, and that's what the windows start shaking, and then everything starts really moving. And, they teach you, I'm sure they teach you here in the South, like tornado prep, right? You had to get under our desks, you had to assume the position. You had to duck and cover, essentially. They had us do that too for nuclear tests. I don't know how old anybody else is, but we used to have to do nuclear emergency tests. They'd have you duck in the hallway, that's going to save you. The same thing as an earthquake test.
Right. Yeah, no, I always thought of earthquakes kind of like the same way as hurricanes. Like if I'm in a building during an earthquake, I could see it being terrifying. But I don't know, if I was out in the middle of, the country or something, I don't, and that's how but tornadoes, that kind of stuff, like that 0 point energy just ripping through everything, and your complete history happens.
It's so funny when I moved here, I was talking to somebody who grew up here, and they were like, oh my gosh, earthquakes are terrifying. It just, at any point, the ground can just move, or it can, split open. And it's not giant fissures. I'm sure that happens, but, sure, fissures open, but they're maybe that wide that I've seen.
Right.
It's not you're not driving your car into one. It's not like the movie San Andreas. Not saying that couldn't happen, but
right.
That's what this guy was thinking. And I'm like, I'd rather the ground shook for a few minutes than the freaking sky comes down and picks me up. Tornadoes are way more terrifying to me than
exactly.
Than earthquakes.
You think of, me personally, because movies, when I think of earthquake, I think of Superman 1. You know what I mean? Your car might fall in a trench, but for the most part, unless you're on that line, you'll be all right. But tornadoes, especially after that one in Gerald, you're talking a mile wide freaking, magic marker just wiping out the landscape.
And that's interesting that you mentioned Gerald, because I feel when everybody's talking about the big, EF5 tornadoes that hit, they talk about Joplin, they talk about other places, but Gerald is hardly ever talked about. But I remember when that hit, because I don't think I'd been in Texas for very long. I hadn't been here very long in that struck, because I remember thinking, where the hell is that compared to where I was?
Yeah, it literally put it on the map, because you used to see the weather map or the news map, and it would be San Antonio, Austin, Waco, Dallas. And then after that tornado, it was San Antonio, Austin, Gerald, Waco, Dallas. It literally put it on the map. But I had a friend, I worked with her, a coworker, and she was in Gerald at the time, and said that whenever the first responders first got to the scene, that the cattle were like a bunch of cattle were still standing, but they had been pretty much removed of their how would you call it without
Hide?
skin? Yeah, their hide. Yeah, and that they were still standing. They just started doop 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 doop.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
No. I'll take the ground.
Yeah, they weren't. Yeah, they weren't even near the thing. But the reason why, well, she said that the reason why that thing was so was such a trip was because instead of normally like they move across, it like actually moved and then stopped, like just spun for freaking ever. You know, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was seconds, if not a minute or so, but you know,
that's a long time to be in a vortex. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
so it just smoothed the landscape right out.
I mean, people think like, oh, a minute's not a long time. Count out a minute. Count out 60 seconds. That's a long time if something horrific is going on around you.
Yep. Absolutely.
Sure enough. So natural, it's natural disaster. Remembrance Day today on our paranormal world. Our natural disaster world.
Yeah. I'm not so paranormal-ish, world-ish.
I guess I should have included that. Okay, so tonight's show, I'm sure everybody read the description, but we're going to be talking about spooky movies for Cucuy season because that's what we're rolling on into, aren't we? We are chin deep into Cucuy season. And I thought it would be a good idea for Joe and I to talk about some spooky movies for everybody to check out, but not just any, because I feel like you've got the list of usual suspects, right? Yeah. You've got the oldies and goodies. You've got the new arrivals or, the newer arrivals, in my opinion, the ones that everybody knows about. So I thought that we would talk about some pre-2000 movies that maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't, that you can check out and see if you like them or not. And some of them are scary. Some of them are funny. Some of them are just plain old weird. Some of them are hilarious in their, how would I say it? In their
own way.
In their goofiness. They're so 80s. They're funny.
Oh yeah. Like trolls or something or ghoulies and stuff like that. It's like, really?
Ghoulies? Oh my goodness. But I was thinking, because we're talking about natural disasters, and I was talking with Tex about this, and I didn't put this on my list, but there are a few honorable mentions that are not going to be on the list tonight that we can just throw in right now. So Food of the Gods is a good one, and it is on Tubi. So it's available on Tubi to stream. And if you haven't checked that out, that one is pretty interesting. Have you ever seen it?
It's not ringing a bell. But okay, yeah. But and so the audience, just so they can catch up, I watch nothing but horror movies pretty much all the time. So it's like pouring a gallon into a shot glass. Like I could be like, no, never heard of it, and then start describing it, and I'm like, yeah, with blah 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 blah, and forget how much I actually know about it. So sometimes it just needs that. It just needs that little push start. Yeah. So
Food of the Gods was I want to say it was a made-for-TV kind of eco horror movie, and I'm going by memory here. And it's about this stuff that comes out of the ground. It's this white, to me it looked like clay, but it's this white stuff that's bubbling out of the ground, and it's in a park or a campground. I want to say it might be in a park, and the wildlife starts eating it, and whatever eats it grows to these outrageous proportions. Do you remember it now?
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And there was a remake of it. Oh, I want to say in the 90s they did a remake of it, but this is like the old school, like late 70s, early 80s, like ecological
Right.
horror.
Yeah, like that's kind of like when there was a little trend of that, like literally the stuff. Remember that one?
I remember the stuff.
But yeah, it looked like the marshmallow cream or whatever they call that
Are
stuff.
you eating it or is it eating you?
Eating you. Yeah, exactly. And then the Blob remake, of course.
Oh, I loved the Blob remake though. I liked that.
Yeah. I did too. I dug it. In the remake, is that the one where they froze it with the air conditioners in like the bowling alley, or was that the original one? I can't remember.
I don't remember if it was air conditioners
or something, but that was the only way they could do it, was to freeze it.
Yeah. Oh no, they froze it in both of them. Yeah. They had to freeze it.
Okay.
But I'm trying to remember how they accomplished it.
That's how I think I remember, because I remember like air coming out of the vents and like tassels on the vents or something to show that the air was coming out. Yeah.
I mean, that's for both of them for sure, but I can't remember how they achieved it in either one. I remember they froze it, but let's be honest, like I haven't seen either one of them in a hot minute. But I did make my husband buy me the remake like a year ago, and I think that's the last time I saw it.
That's how they did the Entity too, right? Didn't they freeze the Entity?
Yes. Well, they tried to freeze the Entity.
Okay, yeah.
And they got it frozen for a hot second, and you see its form before it shatters the ice. Yeah.
Barbara Hershey, excellent freaking.
That movie scared the crap out of me. And I thought about putting it on the list. I did, because I was looking at the poster for it thinking, I think that a lot of people have like heard about it. I don't know. I mean, it spooked me when I first saw it. That's for sure.
Well, yeah. And what's really cool about that one is, if you, not to get off range, but if you look into the way they did the special effects, like when the entity's like pushing down on certain parts of her body, and it's basically like a dimple. So
yeah, you can see it, the thing's hand, because it was essentially essaying her regularly.
Yeah.
And I mean, and it was crazy to me, because that was some good FX for back in the day. Like, because it looked literally like somebody was grabbing or pushing on body parts, but there was no hand present to be doing that.
Yeah.
And that's what was scary to me when I first saw it, because you're thinking, or I was thinking anyway, like, how terrifying. Like, you're just minding your own business, living your life, and suddenly in the middle of the night, this invisible force starts attacking you, like in a very violent manner. And nobody believes you. Nobody believes you.
Yeah.
Because who's going to believe that a ghost is, assaulting you?
Yeah.
Every evening. They're going to lock you up and throw away the key, which is pretty much what they were starting to do. But she got the attention of some people that took her seriously. And because, supposedly it's based on a true story.
Yeah. I think what it was is they used and it was the first time, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, they used the bladder technique, but backwards. So the way they did it is they like made a bladder effect over, like, say you made your arm just a little bit bigger, and then they used a vacuum technique to
negative pressure.
Negative pressure. Yeah.
Okay.
Which was, unheard of at the time. Yeah, so kudos to that one.
Heck yeah. And Madeline in the chat mentioned Deep Star 6, which was a good one. And I've got a good story with Deep Star 6. So Deep Star 6 wasn't on my list, but that is a very good one. And that's the first time I saw my dad jump in a horror movie. Because my father, I guess he liked horror movies as a child, but growing up, he didn't like them. He wouldn't watch them as an adult. So if I wanted to see horror movies, I had to go to my friend Leela's house. So, or I'd have to like rent them and watch them on my own. My dad wanted nothing to do with horror movies. So I remember I talked him one night into buying Deep Star 6. And I was shocked that I got him to buy that, or rent that rather. And we were watching it together. And for anybody who's seen Deep Star 6, there's this one scene where there's this guy in a submersible suit, right? It's a deep pressure submersible suit. And it's like a big bubble, right? He can't move really. And he's being hoisted out of an airlock. And he's just kind of hanging there. And he's yelling something. They can't hear him. And while he's suspended over the airlock, of course, there's water underneath. This thing, like out of nowhere, just jumps up and bites the dude in half. My dad, I looked over right when that happened because, it made me jump. And my father was like this, like in the corner of his chair. And that's the first time I ever saw him just like, scared.
Jump out of the skin.
Yeah. I laughed so hard.
Dude, it's crazy. Like back when I was a kid, I was, I'm talking all the way into my 20s and 30s. I say kids loosely, but like jump scares could never get me. Like I'd see them coming a mile away. You hear the freaking music almost shut down to a flat line, and I'm like, nah, eat popcorn or whatever. I'm like, here it comes. Boo. Oh, so scary. But I don't know if I just like lost my ability to look at the movies like scientifically or whatever, because now I forget and I'm like not paying attention. I'm like pick up the phone, text somebody. I'm like, Jesus, like, and then I feel like, I'm like, yeah, what a great horror movie dude you are. You just got scared out of your skin.
I know. I laughed so hard at my dad, but now I'm older now than my dad was then watching that movie. And I'm like, yeah, I still watch horror movies, but I've lost my zeal for them. Like I'm not as deep into them as I was when I was younger. I don't know if it's the creeping of time, if it's the Grim Reaper hanging out on the periphery, like, hey, lady, getting closer every day.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with because the genres get like we were talking about backstage. It's like now there's the CGI, and also it's like every story is basically from an original story.
Right.
So we have a nostalgia just for the old ones, and we've seen them 100 times, and almost have little to no interest in watching new ones unless they pique our curiosity to a certain point.
And they're all remakes, yeah.
Yeah. Like I was talking about Primal Rage, right, from the 80s, and that's literally a Halloween movie. But if you fast forward in time, it's 28 days later. It's about the scientists and they're experimenting with the monkeys, and they're giving them the rage virus, and then it leaks out. Dude gets bit by a monkey, and he goes on a basically like a zombie thing, but it's the rage. It's not
right
technically the living dead.
And 28 days later, I was like, oh, they're not zombies. They're just really pissed off people with strength. I was like, nah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you go, where have I seen this before? Oh, yeah. Because that was literally the premises. They were experimenting on apes, and it went out into the yeah, no. And then I remember watching 28 Weeks Later, I think it is, and it's like after it's all been done and everybody's like kind of settled into this post zombie apocalypse, and there's a scene where they're collecting rainwater on top of a building, and dude, they're collecting it in freaking laundry baskets with holes, like the big laundry basket hole. And I'm like,
using your noggin.
yeah. I'm like, dude, that's enough to make me turn the movie off right now. I'll watch it, but
work with what you got if that's all you got.
I mean, get a trash can, man.
Are all the infected hoarding the non-hole covered?
Right, yeah, no kidding.
I didn't see anything past the first one, so I can't really comment on it. But yeah, that would infuriate me. But okay, my list for tonight. So I had told Joe that we were going to do this, and he's got his own movies that we'll talk about. I wasn't able to get his list from him to include in mine online, so we'll just go through mine. I've got some of the posters queued up, and we're going to start with The Night Flyer. That's based on that's based on a short story from Stephen King's Nightmares and Dreamscapes.
I just watched that recently. I watched
Did you really?
Yeah, like about maybe 3 weeks ago. I think we talked about it.
Mm-hmm.
And I happened to scroll by it and not watched it yet.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, give it a go, because to me, it's such an interesting take on a vampire story. And the vampire itself is so different than what you would expect. You know, the way the teeth are shaped, the way it presents to its victims, and how it's hopping around, right? It's flying, yes, but it's not flying like a bat. It's using an airplane. And it's such an interesting thing. And I'm sure I've read the short story at some point in time, but it's been forever since I'd read Nightmares and Dreamscapes that I went and bought it. And I'm currently rereading it. And I just started The Night Flyer like as I was pulling into the driveway tonight, because I bought it on Audible so I could listen to it on my commute. So that is one of the ones that I really, really recommend that you check out if you haven't seen it yet. And I really feel like Stephen King movies get a bad rap. And I feel like the ones that are short stories tend to be the ones that are made into better movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like The Body.
The Body, yeah.
Yeah. So we're talking about Stand By Me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my favorite. I mean, what would you call it? Literacy accurate, I guess. Whatever. Yeah, book accurate, whatever. Because it is literally word for word the same as the book, except for the dream sequence that happens to Gordy when they're in the campfire, and the read, what would you call it? The revenge at the end.
Oh, after everything's done. Yeah. And it doesn't really say, like, the book goes into detail what happens to the characters after, like when they grow up in the movie. The movie kind of glosses over it. It focuses more on River Phoenix's character.
Right.
But it tells about each of them like a little more in depth.
Right. But it's all happy endings for me. It's all, he grew up to be a owner or manager to, I forgot what it was, a market or a lumberjack company. Anyway, yeah, they all have good endings. But in reality, Gordy was the only one that survived and had a good ending. You know what I mean? Like, they all died horribly. Yeah.
So I agree. He really was the only one that had a decent.
Because what was it? LaChance, he failed to get into the army, right? And so he became a drunk and ended up killing like him and like 3 other friends in a car crash.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's his name's character, the fat kid? He ended up dying. Yeah, he died in a fire. Like, I think he was in a dorm or something. I can't remember exactly, but Yeah, there was like a huge freaking fire, and he died in it, because he was passed out drunk. And then, of course, Chris's character got, shanked in the neck.
Yeah, trying to break up a fight.
Yeah,
but he made something of himself. Like, so he and Gordy were the only ones that really like made something of themselves when they grew up, right?
Right. Yeah, because he was going to be a lawyer, right? He passed the bar and all that good stuff.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Show you right.
Show. All right, next one. Something Wicked This Way Comes. It has one of my favorite, I call it a poem. I'm not sure if it really is a poem, but it's called Beware the Autumn People. Love it. It's creepy as hell. I'll quote it in my social media posts around this time of year. But yeah, beware the autumn people. But this came out when I was a kid, and it scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. If you haven't seen it, do yourself a favor, because it is still legitimately creepy as an adult. It is still a very creepy movie. It's got a lot of atmosphere. It's insane. So it's the Carnival of Souls. They reap souls. They come into town looking. You know what it reminded me of? It reminds me of Needful Things.
Yeah. Okay.
It's like a kid version of Needful Things.
I can see that. For some reason, my cables were getting crossed, and I kept thinking of Sometimes They Come Back Again. I don't know why.
Oh, sometimes weird. Oh my gosh, that is that is a horribly underrated story and movie. It is a good movie too. Another short story that turned out to be a decent movie from King.
Yeah. I don't know why. As soon as I saw the poster, I was like, that's not right. That's. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're stupid. Shut up, Breezy. Monica knows what she's talking about.
Oh, what? Sometimes They Come Back?
Yeah, well, I saw the poster for Something Wicked This Way Comes, and instantly the story from Sometimes They Come Back Again flooded my nugget. And I was like, that's not the same. Oh, yeah, I'm just stupid.
No. Two different things.
Yeah, totally. I'm back. Sorry.
But it looks kind of similar in my mind. The posters do. So
maybe that's it.
Let's see. I'm just kind of hopping around here tonight. So here's another one that I bet a lot of you don't know. The Boogens. The Boogens. So the premise of this is these two couples move to this mining town, I believe in Colorado. The guys get a job at a mine, and they're renting this house. They're all roommates, and there are these creatures that live in the mine tunnels, and they don't know it, but the mine tunnels are connected to the house. And all these crazy disappearances start happening, and nobody knows what it is until it's too late. And of course, the town, like old Mr. Jenkins, is being creepy around town, trying to warn everybody not to reopen the old mine. And turns out he's got a good reason why. If you haven't seen this, do yourself a favor and check it out. It is a good old monster movie. It's practical effects. You know how much I love practical effects. Once you see the creatures, you're going to be like, okay. But it's pretty, atmospheric. It's spooky for, a 1981 movie. Let's keep that in mind. But it's a good one. So if you haven't seen it, it's available on Tubi. And all of these movies that I'm showing the posters for and we're talking about specifically, I've got the year they were made and where you can find them streaming on the description on YouTube. So if you go to this episode and you go into the description, I've got it listed there. So I know it's on Tubi because I was talking to Tex about it the other night, because Tex from Texas Front Porch and I were doing one of his night owl shows the other night. And afterwards, he's like, hey, do you want to watch this old movie? It's Island of Terror. So we stayed on after the show and we like watched Island of Terror together because he discovered all these cool old horror movies that are on Tubi. And it was a good time. And I had mentioned the Boogens, and he was like, oh my gosh, I love that movie. Sorry, I'm reading the chat here.
No,
you got any obscure 80s, 70s, 80s, 60s? Black and white.
Well, not black and white, but Flesh Eater, right? I don't know if you remember that.
Mm-mm.
But it's a zombie flick that was basically and it takes place during Halloween. But it's basically in its whole shell, Night of the Living Dead Part 2. So remember the original zombie, he's coming to get you, Barbara. You know, that dude, that actual actor that played that zombie, plays a zombie in Flesh Eaters. And it's if you stop and remove yourself from the I guess the movie lineup or the cinematic lineup, it's freaking Night of the Living Dead Part 2. Really freaking good movie. My go-to every Halloween, I have to watch Trick or Treat. I don't know if that's happens, but I definitely have to watch it.
But that's one of the newer ones. That's
it is. Yeah.
That's one of the usual suspects, in my opinion. Like, you got to watch Trick or Treat.
Yeah,
like, you got to watch Halloween. You know, we can go through our list of usual suspects too. Like, my list is like, I got to watch The Fog, the original Fog. Mm-hmm. I've got to watch. Not so much Halloween. Michael Myers just doesn't scare me.
Yeah, no,
he never did.
He's not top on my list. But speaking of John Atkins, one of my favorite Halloween movies also is the one that is very controversial, but Halloween 3, The Season of the Witch.
Oh man, you like that one?
Yeah, I loved it.
Stand that one.
I love it. John Atkins is the shit. And there's something about, so it kind of brings in like that, almost like that biological warfare or governmental warfare against the people type of thing. Because you get the chip on the mask, and as soon as the trigger is triggered, then it's mass annihilation. Imagine kill. Because every kid does Halloween, and if you have the top, like, because I used to think about that when I was a kid. If you had the one costume or the one set of costumes, or say back in 1982, if every Star Wars Halloween costume would take out a kid.
No, I totally get that. Yeah, like mass murder for sure.
Right? Yeah, you depopulate the entire Earth for at least
wipe out a whole generation, really. Yeah.
But I did like it because it didn't have Michael Myers. It was like but it was how. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I first watched it as a kid, I was like, "What? Why is he not?" But as I got older, I just got to respect it more for what it was. And then you got the whole robot thing, like the Terminator aspect. Because remember at the end, the chick was a robot. She wasn't even, so it's like you got this, I don't know, you got this whole whirlpool of Terminator, government genocide, freaking, whole 9 yards, and there's just one dude that happens to stumble upon it, and only because he has the hots for the robot chick, they can stop it. So,
leave it to the guy with the hots for the robot.
Yeah, sometimes that's what it takes.
I mean, I remember he was not successful. I'm going to have to watch it again as an adult. I was just so disappointed in it that I was like, I don't ever want to see this. I remember what the first time I saw it, deciding that was the last time I would see it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. When I was a kid, I was the same way. But if you really look at if you watch interviews with John Carpenter, that was how Halloween was supposed to originally go. There was supposed to be it was supposed to take place on Halloween, but it was supposed to be a different protagonist for each. It wasn't supposed to be Michael Myers twice in a row. It was, but it was so it caught on so big and made so much money that they had no choice but to bring him back in. You know, but it was supposed to be a different dude. So if you could imagine, you know, if that whole franchise went a different direction, and we had like 9 or 10 different Halloween creatures or ghosts and ghouls, you know, like how cool would that have been? You know what I mean?
So we're going to pause the movies for a minute because you just made me think of something that I saw. Have you been hearing about the latest like government admitting to aliens are real?
Yeah.
Constellation something. It's like the stupidest name. What is it? Constellation.
I wouldn't know.
Dog it. What is it?
I'd be lying if I said I'd just be shooting in the wind. But no, I know what you're talking about. They're like, yep, even Congress has freaking notes of it and blah blah blah.
Hold on. Immaculate Constellation. The name is so stupid. It sounds like something the government would make up. It 100% sounds like a government covert code name because it is so stupid. But yeah, I mean, apparently, yeah, some guy admitted it to Congress, and then they went to the Senate, and the Senate was like, "We don't know what you're talking about. We don't know what Immaculate Constellation is." And they're like, "We didn't say the name." And the guy's like, you know, the aliens are, but they're not from space. They're from here. So,
because space isn't real.
Stop.
I had to take my shot.
We're gonna have to talk about that. Yeah. So that it made what we were talking about for whatever reason made that pop into my head. So you and I are going to have a conversation about that later. So back to the horror movies. So back to the horror movies. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that goes into play with a lot of the basis of the old, you know, horror flicks. You know, like the Thing from Outer Space, and you know, so. You know, they go hand in hand, I think. You know, I mean, I would go so far as to say aliens, but that's such a trendy mainstream that I'd like to stay away from it in this subject. But you know, that is domination and from a higher technological race or, you know, civilization, you know, that you're pretty much powerless over. You know what I mean? And that's what defines horror. You know, like I think I've said this before, but you know, the great formula about horror movies is isolation, powerlessness. You know what I mean? And just not understanding the creature or whatever. So you don't know how to kill it till the very end. You know, kind of like It or whatever, anything like that. Like it takes having to survive it long enough to figure it out.
Right.
And that's a scary premises.
Is Welcome to Derry on yet? Has that aired yet? Welcome to Derry?
No, it hasn't. I've been looking for it. But if it has, I don't have the right streaming platform.
I'm going to have to check that out because that is one that I am curious to see.
Yeah, I would like to see the prequel.
Yeah, I'd like to see the alien from the beginning of time.
Right. And I wonder if they're going to put the turtle in it, because that's one thing that always pissed me off about
Turtle.
Turtle. Am I turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
Turtle Club? Okay, we're old.
There's hairs. There's no hairs on my arms, Chiefy. Yeah.
Okay, next one. You're in. Demon Night.
Demon Night.
One of the horror movies I can quote the shit out of. And I do. And people don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Dogs.
Little ho down, po dunk, well done there. I'm not going to say it.
Yep. No, well, I know where you go.
The GD key. Then we could get on with our lives. Yes, yeah. So Demon Night. The first Tales from the Crypt movie.
Was that the first, or was Bordello?
No, it wasn't. I was just thinking about that. I was like, no, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Yeah, Bordello.
It wasn't.
But they came out.
Bordello of Blood was the second one.
Oh, okay.
So this was.
You're talking about the original Tales from the Crypt with the old dude being the crypt keeper.
Yeah. So
good call.
It really wasn't the first Tales from the Crypt movie, but we'll call it.
Yeah.
We'll say it was. But it was an excellent movie. If you have not seen it, please check it out. Excellent soundtrack. Cemetery Gates is on it. Mm-hmm. Gotta love Pantera. And it's wonderful. And the demons are pretty cool. It's an interesting storyline. I'm not even going to tell you what it is. Demon hunters passed down from the crucifixion, essentially. And how it's passed on from one hunter to the next is pretty interesting. And I really recommend it.
Yeah, it's like it has like that Van Helsing type of feel, like that it's passed down from generation to generation. Or
you got the star on your hand. It's a little bit of the Wolf Man there, right? With the stars.
Yep, exactly. The pentagram. Yeah. No, I love that one. That was actually out of the two. Out of Bordello and Demon Night, that was, I think, my favorite as far as action and everything went. Bordello is cool. It's what was that dude's name that starred in it though? Like
Corey Feldman.
No, the smart
Bordello or Demon Night.
Bordello.
The preacher?
Dennis something. He used to have a talk show. Talk shows.
Oh gosh, I see his face.
Yeah. But he actually, I think it kind of ruined it for me. Because really? he was just such a smart ass, and it was more like shtick comedy. You know what I mean? When Demon Night was actually
Dennis Miller.
When Demon Night was actually, Billy Zane just fucking knocked it out the park.
Yeah, he did.
Like, dude, he just played the best.
He dives into all of his roles. So, I mean, he really does. He doesn't give a shit. He gets into it. If it's sticky, if it's kind of tongue in cheek, he doesn't care. He gives it his all.
Yeah. Listen to your friend Billy Zane. He's a cool guy.
Yeah, Bordello of Blood was.
I respect it, and there's a bunch of hot chicks in it. So
it's got its place. It's got its place. It was the campy From Dusk Till Dawn.
Okay. Yeah. I can dig that.
It's the American campy Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah. I'm remembering lines from the dude who's like, got the best gear you've ever seen in your life. It just tickles my fancy. Sorry.
I haven't seen it in so long. I remember flashes of it.
He's like the what would you call it?
Barker, the carnival Barker for the bordello.
Yeah, but they're the familiars. It's like the Renfield,
Yeah.
up the bordello. But it's just so it's so ridiculous. It's just bone tickling funny. But yeah, Demon Knight was excellent, and I liked how not only did the demon hunter pass down, but at the very end when Jada Pinkett's getting on the bus, also the demon itself,
Tries to get on with her.
Passes it down. So you have this constant eternal battle between the protector and the taker,
right?
You know what I mean, of the cross and of the blood.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty freaking cool. And then also anytime you add religious aspects into a horror flick, it just makes it that much more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think that's why, even though it's a really boring movie, when you really take a step back and look at it, that's what makes The Exorcist The Exorcist. Because if it didn't have that religious aspect to it and that good versus evil, because a lot of them don't. It's not necessarily good versus evil. Like when you talk about like the 80s slashers, it's a Puritan versus the evil. It's not necessarily that they're religiously hype. They just didn't want to get it on.
Prude.
Yeah, right. I would have been so dead. I would have died before the movie started.
Burned at a stake a long time ago. I'm just saying. She's a witch. She can read and count. Right. She has an opinion. Witch.
Heretic.
Throw her in the river.
Right.
And she can swim. Oh, that's proof.
That's even more proof.
Devils.
Oh yeah.
All right. Have you seen that?
I don't know.
1980, Without Warning, not to be confused with the 1994 like NBC fake docuseries where it looked like the entire world was getting nuked at the same time. It is 80s. Let me tell you, if you want an 80s alien trip with the Scooby-Doo van, see this. It's got these flying things. Like starfish of death. I don't even know how to describe these things. You got to watch this movie. It's just a trip. It's a trip. Okay. So, I think it's on Tubi. Let's see. Let's check out me show notes. Yeah, it's on Tubi, so it's good. Check it out. 1980, can't go wrong. It's got some awesome effects. It really does, actually. The alien in it is pretty decent considering it's 1980. And the little things that it tosses out at people are pretty weird. So check it out.
Biological starfish or
like
something.
These little things with like little teeth. It's weird. Watch it. It's weird.
Like a starfish. It's so gross. Ugh.
So, okay. So talking about little flying things that are creepy. Phantasm. Can't have a Halloween movie without talking about Phantasm. I'm sure everybody listening or in chat knows about Phantasm. If you haven't seen it, check it out. The first one, it is a fever dream if there ever was a fever dream of a movie. That's for sure. But you'll never look at shiny, chrome orbs the same again. I promise you that.
Yeah. Phantasm to me was one of those things where it was like the very first Hellraiser. Like when I was a kid, I was like, dude, this is the most boring freaking crap in the world. And now that I'm older, it grew on me. But I still will stick to my guns and say that everything past part 3 all the way to part freaking 10 or 11 of those movies was just horrible. Especially the last one, where the dude with the ponytail, I forgot his name, where he kicks the bucket, and it's literally, like you said, it's literally the entire thing's a fever dream. Like he's literally
all of them are.
Yeah.
All of them are. It's like this surreal, like you're not really you're in the real world, but you're on the fringes of the real world. It's like, the fuck am I watching?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, those flicks are good. I mean, they don't get me wrong. The fever dreams do hold their special place in it because I think of like even like In the Mouth of Madness almost is kind of the same thing.
That is great.
Or what was that other one with Scott Bakula, the Lord of Illusions?
I don't know that I saw that one.
That came out right about the same time as In the Mouth of Madness. Yeah, Lord of Illusions. But yeah, same kind of thing. It's like you
is that the one that takes place in the church? Which one is it takes place in the church and the liquid's dripping the wrong way?
That might be it. I haven't seen it since the 90s.
Yeah, because there was one that I actually got kind of bored with. And it came out about the same time as In the Mouth of Madness. So In the Mouth of Madness, for anybody who hasn't seen it, if you're a Lovecraft fan, you have to see it, In the Mouth of Madness. It is a fabulous story.
Dude, how the little kid gets older as they're going when he's on the bicycle and stuff.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it is Lovecraftian if there ever was one. Yeah. Like anything centered around it. And another one that is creepy in a kind of along the same thing, but it's based on is it Craven? Who did those? Who did the Books of Blood? I always get Craven confused. Hold on. Whoops.
You talking about the triangle or the prism or?
No, I'm talking about the actual Books of Blood.
Oh, okay. I'm getting the vision of that blue triangle, and it's got the tentacles.
Clive Barker.
Clive Barker.
So Clive Barker wrote a book series called Books of Blood. I can't get through those. Those are some jacked up stories. So for my people who love books, and I always give a book recommendation, I recommend give it a go. Give the first volume of the Books of Blood and see how that affects your psyche.
I know of this one. My brother Jake, man, he was telling me about that before he passed. He was telling me about, because we got into the discussion of how Hellraiser 1 and 2 is really one book called The Hellbound Heart. And then he was telling me about the Books of Blood.
Yeah, the Books of Blood are effed up. And they're all different. It's like a Stephen King short story anthology, right? It's the same premise, but they're called the Books of Blood, and there's different volumes. And Rawhead Rex is in them. So that's another great movie. If you haven't seen it, 80s Rawhead Rex, and it follows the story in the Books of Blood pretty well. And it's an old demon that's buried in a churchyard that gets let loose by a farmer on accident. And it's got an interesting twist, but I mean, it's pretty crazy. And if you haven't had a chance to see the movie, give it a look. It's a good one. But the Books of Blood, they actually made a movie called Books of Blood, and it's based on one of the short stories in there. And it's about this guy who I'm trying to remember if he's really psychic or if he's pretending to be a psychic. But anyway, it backfires. It's not a good thing for him. And it so happens that when you cross over, like all the dead have a story to tell and they want to tell their story and they write their story in the books of blood. And this guy who's a psychic, they use his skin as the pages.
Like the Necronomicon.
Yeah. And he's still occupying his flesh at the moment while they're starting to write their stories. So, yeah. So you want like a crazy movie. Yeah. Clive Barker will, man, he'll get under your skin for sure.
Yeah, I can't front. I haven't read too much Clive Barker. I honestly, I know I have read a few, but I couldn't even probably tell you. Because, back when you're a young kid, it's like picking gang sides. You're like, forget everybody else. It's all about King, man.
I didn't have to throw down with one side or the other.
I did.
I just had to be careful what color I was wearing when I was in a certain neighborhood.
Yeah, I couldn't, man. Like Dean Koontz. Like I think I've read one Dean Koontz movie. And like I was reading it, I'm like, yeah, see, it's nothing compared to King, so I'm gonna just throw it out there.
I liked Koontz because I got bored with King because King can get overly descriptive and boring.
Yeah, like Anne Rice.
Yeah. And
I love her to death, but
10 books in, I'm like, like, get on with it. So when I found Koontz, my introduction to Koontz was Watchers, which is a great introduction to Koontz. That is a fast paced, that's a crazy book.
I think that's the one that I read.
Because it's got a legitimate monster in it.
Or did I just recently watch a movie called Watchers?
Well, they made a movie out of the book.
Okay. Maybe I'm getting my wires mixed up. And that happens a lot.
So I remember reading that, and I was so in love with Watchers that I went and bought, I think Twilight Eyes was my second one. And then Whispers. If you've ever seen Whispers, is another good story. And they made a movie out of it, and it's got I think Ben Affleck in it, and
I'm out.
McDowell's. But no, it's a good one. No, it's a good one. They talk about the ancient evil, and it explains like the mass disappearances. Like it's this creature that lives in the earth and is oil essentially, and it comes up and like will eat populations and then sink back down, and it seems like they just disappeared overnight. So
that's what happened to the Roanoke cats.
Yeah. Okay. Or like Mayan they'll talk about like Mayan civilizations that just wipe out overnight, that kind of thing. Like any kind of mass unexplained disappearance that they're trying to like write off as the ancient evil. So this town that they happen to be in is the next victim to it.
Okay, I can do it.
Yeah, it's a good story. And so A said Monica did not buy Twilight Eyes, she bought Twilight, LOL. Now that was a few decades before Twilight was even a thing. So yeah, I mean Koontz, he's a great author, and I can recommend. I mean, the Watchers movie was okay. I liked Whispers. That was a good one. Shadows is another good one for my book readers. And Odd Thomas. So Odd Thomas is more of like a paranormal kind of detective-y thing. Have you read Odd Thomas?
Mm-mm.
You'd probably like Odd Thomas. You should read it. So Odd is this young man, and he's alone in the world, and he's got this gift. He can see the dead, right? But he can't hear them. They try to communicate with him, like he can see their mouths moving, like they're trying to talk to him, but he can't hear.
Yeah.
But they lead him to different things. And he can also see these dark energies, these dark spirits, that this child who, when he was a kid, could also see them. And I think he called them Bogarts. And when the kid acknowledged that he could see them and called them Bogarts, he like ended up getting killed in a car accident in front of Odd. So these things can manipulate like circumstances, and they're drawn to tragedy. So if there's a lot of them in one spot, there's going to be like a mass shooting or, you know, something like that's going to happen. And anyway, the whole series is about him like playing detective, and, you know, it just, one thing leads to another. It's a great series. And they made one movie about the first book of Odd Thomas, and it starred, oh gosh, what's his name? The young actor that ended up passing away. His car rolled back onto him. He played Chekhov in the remake of.
Oh yeah, remake of Star Trek.
Yeah, I totally forgot his name.
I forgot his name.
And I loved him so much. He was such a good actor. But he played Odd Thomas, and it's such a good movie. Like, it's such a good movie, and it follows the book pretty well. So I recommend the book series and the movie.
That's crazy you said that, because like literally before we jumped on, I got home and one of the first things I started watching was a documentary on the real Bogarts. Like, because they're kind of like, they're kind of like fae.
They are. They're fae.
Yeah.
I mean, Bogarts are fae, but what in Odd Thomas, they're like spirits. They're not fae. They're
right.
Yeah.
No, it's just weird that you said that, because I never knew that was an actual thing. Like,
they're like sprites.
Right.
Yeah.
I always thought of it like, don't Bogart that joint, my friend. Pass it over to me. You know, I didn't know it was a, you know, kind of like when you first find out that Gremlins weren't just a made up movie called Gremlins, that Gremlins were a thing that, you know, people believed in, like, oh, the cars got gremlins or the planes got gremlins.
Yeah.
You know? And that's what they
explain away the mechanical issues inside of the.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So no, it's a trip that you said that, because as soon as you did, I was like, wait a minute. Did the moon fool tonight?
It sure is, actually. It sure is. Oh my gosh, it was such a pretty moon coming up too. It was rising as I was coming home. It was so pretty. So here's one. So we're going to move on from regular movies to made-for-TV movies, because there are two I want to talk about because they scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. First one, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark. F that. I was afraid of the dark after seeing that movie. I was terrified of the dark after seeing this as a child, because my parents didn't care and let me watch it on the TV when I was a kid. And if you've seen, there was a remake in the early 2000s, I want to say, and it had Katie Holmes in it, and it's, you know, a similar storyline to this. And in the remake, they kind of allude to these things being tooth fairies, like traditional tooth fairies, which are just things that eat teeth. All right. And so this one, though, they don't really make that connection, but man, let me tell you, these creepy ass little things come out of the basement and basically terrorize this chick in her house in the dark. They're afraid of the light. They make her think that she's going nuts. She's swearing up and down. She's seeing these little creatures in her house. Her husband thinks she's crazy. He doesn't believe her, you know, and in the end, the ending scene is freaking terrifying. It would freak me out as an adult watching this in a dark room. So, you know, check it out. I want to say the entire thing is available on YouTube to watch. If you weren't traumatized as a child like I was, traumatize yourself as an adult and watch it. Give it a go. And see how you feel after like seeing that. And the next one I wanted to point out has my favorite paranormal detective and yours, Darren McGavin, the original Kolchak, in it. And it's called Something Evil. And in this little made-for-TV movie, him and his wife move into a farmhouse that's haunted as hell. And there was one scene in particular that scared me. I mean, I've got to tell you, it's a typical haunted house movie, but there's this one scene where they take a picture, like I want to say the family's standing outside of the house and they take a picture, and it's developed later on. And it was either him or a family friend gets it developed, and they see these red glowing eyes in the window behind the family. And they're like, oh, get out of the house. There's like a demon in the house. And I'm like, I don't want to see red glowing eyes anywhere, especially when you're a kid. I don't want to see them. I don't. I want to see them as an adult. Sure don't want to see them as a child. Scarred me. So, if you're so inclined, check it out. Give it a go. And then my final selection, and then we'll just talk about whatever. And this is my selection for what did I just watch? It's weird. Oh, it's weird. It's called Society. I had no idea what I was rolling into. I want to say I turned on Showtime one afternoon in the 90s and this was on. And I'm like, oh, it's, I mean, I think I might have picked up it was a horror movie. It's a horror comedy, horror, light on the horror, heavy on the WTF.
Oh.
Like, so it's about this young man whose family, gosh, I can't remember if they come from wealth or if they have just gotten into money, and they're coming into society. And when you come into society and you're welcomed into society, there are these rules, and they're invited to this party. And let me tell you, it's not what you think it is. It is effed up. And don't let little kids see it. Let me tell you right now, if you got little kids, there's adult situations. Don't let them see it. And it's weird. You're going to have to explain some shit if they see that. So, teenagers, whatever, but it's just, again, what did I just see?
So what are they aliens or are they?
Yeah. They end up being aliens, but it's just really weird.
No, it's kind of like a Eyes Wide Shut meets what's that movie? Dang it, with Rowdy Piper, They Live.
Oh, They Live. No, it's not like that. No, they're like the society people know what they are. Like it's very open to people in society. Like,
got you.
And I want to say that their motto is like, when you arrive to the party, it's like, first you eat, then you copulate, or something like that.
Oh, okay.
It's like, but it's not what you think. It's not what you think. Like, it's right. Like, think the thing. Think the thing.
Yeah, I think I know where you're going. Rissel said horror porn. No, that's not horror porn. Trust me.
There's nothing. I mean, technically, it's pornographic. Like, in the most technical of senses, it is.
I'll send you some horror porn.
there's nothing remotely stimulating about it. I can tell you. It's like, it's like, what did I just look at? I just saw like a weird version of the thing. I just watched this morph into some crazy version of the thing.
Yeah, I was never too huge on the like, even when it came out, when it was the made for TV, I was never too huge on it, because I mean, I'm not drifting off the subject on that one, but just because we covered it a little bit earlier, I don't know, it just didn't have the oomph. And also, I have a kind of a detest for series, because it relies a lot on the cliffhanger. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's drug out so far that now you just gotta wait, or it's like it's like Sopranos, right? You can take
Right.
Sopranos and condense it into Goodfellas, make it a nice 2-hour movie.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. But I'm gonna check some of these out. I definitely am.
All right. So Wedge mentioned In the Company of Wolves. That's another weird ass fever dream werewolf horror movie. It's another one of those. Do I like it? Do I not like it? It's weird. It's weird. But I'd probably watch it again, you know.
The Company of Wolves. Is that the one that I told you that I watched the other day? Or no, that was Werewolves Among Us.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, and The Company of Wolves is a 1980s movie. And it looks like Red Riding Hood with a girl like screaming, like she looks like Red Riding Hood with like a wolf snout coming out of her mouth.
Oh, dude, I remember that artwork. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I watched it, but I remember that artwork.
It's interesting. It's kind of fever dreamish, like kind of hops all over the place. It's different. But I mean, it's worth a go. You know, it's better than Wolfen. Hate Wolfen. I can give you a list of horror movies not to waste your time on.
Oh, dude.
Wolfen's up there.
Big time. Yeah, I got a buddy. We'll have to have him on the show sometime, either mine or yours. But dude, like he's got. It looks like like an actual library, but it's all obscure, weird horror that like you never even heard of.
Really?
And yeah, and he's like, yeah, and this goes to blah blah blah, and there's like famous people in a lot of them, but you've never even heard of it. Like he brought one over one time. We're hanging out and partying, and it was like too much obscurity. I was like, dude, what the fuck are we watching, dude? Like I can't even keep up with it. And it had one of the dudes from, I want to say, the main dude was the butler that plays Alfred and the Batman, the Christian Bale. What's that dude's name? Forgot his freaking name.
Butler from Christian Bale.
Yeah, Alfred from the Christian.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
But he was like a young dude. Like he's like probably like 20, maybe 20.
Wow.
I would card him if he came in a smoke shop. But
how young he was.
Yeah. But and he's like, oh, and this dude and this, blah blah. I'm like, dude, what are we actually watching? I have to get him on, and we'll go through because those are ones like you just said, don't waste your time on them. Like cool to have the knowledge and to be able to just point it out, but yeah. It's like right up there with like Bad Taste or Eaten Alive. Like
oh my god,
not Eaten Alive,
but it's so bad.
Dead Alive, yeah.
Because that used to be Legend of the Bayou. And I remember the TV spots for that because I was like, oh, I want to go see that. That sounds crazy creepy. Because it made it seem like it was like a Bigfoot creature, and it turns out to be a stupid ass alligator.
Yeah. The only thing I like
not even an alligator, it's a hillbilly serial killer feeding people to an alligator.
Right. The thing I did like about that is, okay, number one, that was like one of Robert Englund's first movies.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Number two is it got relayed later in Kill Bill to my name is Buck and I like to
Right.
So three, it's like every time Toby Hooper has what's her name? Why am I drawing so many blanks tonight? the chick that was in Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She was his girlfriend for a while. He's like so sadistic to her in both of those movies, in Eaten Alive and Texas Chainsaw. Like, he puts that girl through freaking hell.
All right, Hitchcock, calm down. Leave the actresses alone.
Yeah. No, but it's really like it's because in both of those, like, they're beating the shit out of that chick, and you can tell they're not taking it easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marilyn Burns, that's her name. Yeah, she's in that one as well. So I dig the Toby Hooper part, but good God,
Well,
he got off on it.
Beating up the actress.
Yeah, but it was his chick
trying to make a living. Leave her the hell alone. She's already in a swamp, probably getting bit up by mosquitoes. Right. So, okay, speaking of Freddy Krueger, and I'm drawing a blank now, the actor that played Freddy Krueger.
Robert Englund.
I want to say it was 80s version of Phantom of the Opera.
Mm-hmm. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one. So that's another one to check out, and kind of like obscure. I don't think a lot of people know about it or have probably seen it. So you should give that a check out if you haven't yet.
Yeah, and there's another one. What was it called? The Machinist, I believe it was, that he was in. He did a really good job in it. Yeah, he did. It just like he got so typecasted as Krueger. Mm-hmm. But but then again, you can't have another.
He played it well. I mean,
yeah.
Let's see, anything.
I recommend. Okay, so a couple of my recommendations. Castle Freak. If y'all haven't seen it, check it out. That's a really good one. Man, I got so many. I'm trying to think 80s. Oh, Night of the Demons.
I was about to say that. That's a great one.
That's a great one. That's
the original 80s one, not the stupid 2090s remake. Yeah.
No,
it was decent, but the 80s one is like the original, the OG.
Yeah, Linnea Quigley, she kills it. Everything she does, actually. All the way to Return of the Living Dead. And Demons and Demons 2, because those were...
Ooh, I didn't see Demons 2, but I saw Demons.
Demons 2 is pretty good. You got to
check
it out. Yeah.
Okay.
It takes place like in the same kind of concept, but in a... So I guess in Italy or whatever, their apartment complexes are a lot different than ours. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like a fortified prison almost from the inside. Mm. So yeah, it's same concept, same thing, same gore. And I believe that was what was that dude's name? The director. Dario Argento.
Oh, Dario.
Yeah.
Argento. Yeah.
Really good flick. So yeah, but and it's cool watching the Italian horror flicks. There was another dude, so it was Dario and this other cat.
Did you ever see Deep Red?
Yeah.
That was crazy. That one freaked me out as a kid. I remember seeing Deep Red on Creature Features when it was Friday night, I think.
Sweet.
Creature Features.
I love how the gore is in those. It's totally different. And it's very painful.
I remember in Deep Red, somebody gets their necklace caught in the elevator door. And rather than the chain breaking like would happen in real life, it just cuts through them. Yep. And like all the blood everywhere, and it shows the chain dripping with the deep red.
The Gate. Yeah, that was a good one, Bristol. The Gate was awesome. kid flick, but it's like the Goonies horror style.
Right.
What was the one? I don't know if you remember this. Okay. It came around the same time as The Gate, but it was about these kids and they thought there was like this monster in this pond or a lake. And then like in the end, it turns out to be like a bulldozer or something, or like a backhoe feeder, one of those things with the big claw on it. Yeah, but it was just like The Gate. It came around the same time. It was a horror flick, but in the end, it wasn't. It was just the kids' imagination. Yeah, it was a backhoe. Yeah.
I don't remember that one. Sounds kind of anticlimactic.
It is. Yeah, it's about like the imagination of kids, like how, because they go out there and they can hear it and it's all, but it's really like the bubbles from underneath it coming up or whatever the hell. But no, that was a good one too. Man, I can't remember what that was called. I'll have to get back to y'all.
That I used to watch, like, so we talked about Slumber Party Massacre the other night.
The Impossible Drill Battery.
The Impossible Drill. But there was another one that I remember seeing, and it was along the lines of Slumber Party, because there were all these like Sorority Row Massacre and Slumber Party Massacre. A good one is the original I think it's Black Christmas.
Oh, Black Christmas, yeah.
Yeah, the original one, because they just did a remake on it, which was good. But the original one's pretty good too. It's pretty creepy.
Well, there's actually so what we consider the original one from the 80s, there was actually like a 1930s or 20s one.
Really?
Yeah. So it's actually a remake of a remake. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, because that's one of the very first Black Cat and Black Christmas are considered some of the very first two horror movies ever freaking made.
Okay.
So pre World War II.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Black Christmas is a good one. I'm trying to think. Okay, so along the lines of the Slumber Party Massacre, and I remember it was a guy, the serial killer was like a rock star, and he had like drill bits on the end of his guitar.
The guitar, that's Slumber Party Massacre Part 2.
Is that okay? Yeah. I thought it was a Slumber Party Massacre, but I couldn't remember. Another Impossible Drill. Yeah. And I remember that one because I was like, this is some crazy shit. Yeah. I remember watching this as a teenager going, this is over the top.
Yeah, that one's freaking, but that was made to be like a comedy parody. What was the one where, man, see, it's got, now my brain's scrambling. Where it's a dude and he wears all the different masks. He has like the Frankenstein mask and he has to pay the chick to have relations with him. And then like, whenever it finally reveals itself, he's got like
that's like just split face. That's just, is that Carnival Freak?
Carnival Freak,
or is it just Freak? I think it might just be Freak.
Maybe,
but it's Carnival. I think it might be Carnival Freak.
I want to say Carnival because
because they're in a carnival.
Yeah, because they go backstage behind. They sneak back.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember. That one actually like scared me when I first saw it. Like, cause it's got all of the things that freak me out, right? Cause they're like behind the scenes in the carnival. So you've got the dark carnival. You got the dark, which clearly I was traumatized as a child and the dark scares me. And you've got the claustrophobia from being like inside of the mechanism of the rides, like the haunted house ride, right. And different, fun house, like you're in the back parts of it. So, and this creature, like it's a human, he's just deformed, but still like the monster is chasing you. So yeah, that one freaked me out. That one actually did scare me when I saw it.
And you brought up another one, Funhouse. That was a great freaking horror flick
Yeah.
in the 80s. Funhouse was good. Yeah, so many,
I
man.
think that was it. That was it.
Was
Funhouse.
it Funhouse?
That was Funhouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I knew it had something to do with carnivals. That was it. That was it. It's Funhouse.
Okay. See, all we got to do is like add our brains.
We'll get there eventually.
We got one.
We got there. Yay.
Yeah. So, do you have any actual plans for Halloween? Have you figured out what you're going to be doing?
Well, we usually take Lucas trick-or-treating, but I'm tired. I don't know if I want to do that this year. I might just make Chris take him.
How old is he?
12.
Oh, good. Just tell him, kick him out after it gets dark.
Hell no, I'm not doing that. I am not my parents. I want my child on the side of a milk carton.
We don't even have milk cartons anymore.
You know what I mean? The equivalent of the side of a milk carton.
I know what you mean. No, I was actually, I forgot what I was watching today, but they were talking about that. It was like, I kind of thought about it, and I was like, yeah, wait a minute. Why am I going out, with my kid trick-or-treating when they would be like, go trick-or-treating. Just be back by midnight on a Tuesday.
I will say that I was not really allowed to go trick-or-treating by myself. Like,
really?
Mm-mm.
Dude, I remember.
Dude, there's a lot of perverts in California. I was never allowed to go like trick-or-treating by myself.
I remember one time, me and my two brothers, we didn't have a costume because Mom was like, "No, you're not getting a costume this year." Blah blah blah. So we ended up taking her lipstick and painting like a dragon face on a sheet, and like it was like me, my brother behind me, and my other brother behind him, and like we went. This is like a Chinese dragon.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and we were like, "Well, we'll make it freaking."
That's pretty cool, actually.
Outfit out of it.
So Lucas wants to be Frankenstein, and I'm all about the practical effects. I don't know how the hell I'm going to make him Frankenstein. I'm feeling like I'm going to have to actually pull a mask out on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, Jaden, he's being the Grim Reaper. And I think she heard you talking about being the plague doctor.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, "Oh, I got the black dress and blah, blah, blah." She has like a black goth dress. She's like, "All I got to do is get the plague doctor mask." And I was like, "Yeah, well, the plague doctor does."
I've got a plague doctor mask. I'll send her. Just give me your address. Text me your address. I'll mail you the plague doctor mask.
I was like, it makes sense. They go hand in hand.
Yeah, I'm gonna do. I'm skating in easy this year. I'm not gonna go over the top like I normally do. I'm just gonna do purge. Gonna do a purge costume.
I dig it. I still haven't figured out what I'm gonna do for the show because all I ever do is masks, and I know it's gonna muffle the sound on. You sound like this the whole time. So I don't know. Exactly.
I gotta figure out like what's happening because Halloween is show night. And if I'm taking my son trick-or-treating, there's not going to be a show.
Right, yeah.
So we might be doing your show that week.
Right. And that's fine. Mine we're going to do, I think, the Halloween franchise. And we've already done pretty much half of that. Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, I still got to get the frame for your autograph and send it up to you as well. From the little girl that played in Halloween 4 and 5. What's her name, man? That starts with a D. Jesus.
I don't know one like you.
Yeah, no, she was also the daughter, Bruce Willis's daughter in The Last Boy Scout, Danielle Harris.
Okay.
Because I got you the original with her with the clown. You remember, like in the end of part 4 where she has the clown and the knife.
Mm-hmm.
And it's autographed to you from her. So.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, so I gotta get that to you.
That's so cool. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime. And then we're doing the Greasy Strangler. They're coming down. The three main actors from that are coming down to the gas station next weekend, and that's my birthday weekend. So we're gonna go out there and party down. I bought one of those shotguns that you put a beer in it and it does a beer shotgun. Yeah.
Do you put how does that work exactly?
So it's like a crack open shotgun and you put the beer in it, like top down. And then when you close it and you cock it, it punches the holes in it. Then you pull the trigger and it shoots it,
Okay.
You got a beer shotgun.
So you're shotgunning, like legit shotgunning your beer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, like back in the day when you stab the beer in the back. And then, but it does it all automatic for you. And it's got a reservoir you can pour a shot in. So you can put a shot in with it. Close
for
the
extra.
Reservoir. Yeah.
I don't know. Last time I tried to take a shot, I almost died. So I don't think that. I think my shot taking days. Just got to be careful. That wasn't a normal shot. That broad gave me like a triple shot or something. It was not a normal shot. It was like in a glass like this tall, and they're like, "Shoot it, shoot it!" And I was like, "Oh." Not an alcoholic like you guys. I don't know.
You just didn't breathe right. That's all.
Yeah, I inhaled too soon.
Yeah, it happens.
Thinking about that the other day, I was like, "There's a video of me looking really, really particularly dumb."
And she said she was from the 80s.
Rookie.
No, you've seen me do the same thing. Like, I think backstage one night, we were talking and I did a shot. I was like, you're like, what are you drinking? Because I watch you drink all the time.
What the hell's wrong? Yeah, well, I wasn't like filming you. Somebody had their freaking phone camera on me. So I'm like, I couldn't turn around fast enough.
It happens.
And then I couldn't breathe. So I'm sitting there like completely red-faced, like gulping like a fish out of water because the fumes were so strong I couldn't inhale.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing. It was super.
Me and Jim.
19-year-old Monica's like,
yeah.
Who the hell are you?
All right. No, me and Jen got to where we were drinking this stuff called it's made by Crown Royal, but they don't age it as long. So it's really like rot gut Crown. And we were drinking it all the freaking time. And it got to the point to where even before I even did my shot, like I'd literally be pouring up a shot and I'd instantly go, like, God. And she's like, dude, you haven't even drinking yet. I'm like, yeah, I know. I was like, we got to switch over to something.
And that's like, man, that is like, what is it? Not ever. Well, yeah, Everclear, but what am I trying to say? Moonshine. If you can run an engine off of it, it doesn't belong in your body. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So if you can run an engine off of it, don't drink it.
Yeah.
Don't drink it.
Oh, I got one final drinking funny story. It's kind of funny. It's kind of painful. But so when my youngest brother, well, second youngest brother, when he got old enough to start drinking, we used to hang out in the shed in the back, and him and his buddy were like, "Hey man, can you get us some Everclear?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And so we're out there, and him and his friend. So it's no electricity out there, so they had a candle right in the middle. Y'all probably know where this is going.
Oh my goodness!
And yeah, it was, and I'm like sitting on the toolbox, on my pops' toolbox, and my brother's like, "All right, man, first shot, here we go," and like did the shot and and it hit the flame and blew it right up into his homie's face, burnt like all of his eyebrows and eyelids, or not eyelids, but eyelashes off. Like,
oh my goodness!
Totally squishy, fireballed him like Revenge of the Nerds style. It was great, and I was like, I'm sitting there drinking my beer, and I'm like,
that's so bad. Oh my gosh. That's scary.
It was hilarious.
Why you don't do that, and that's why you don't light your farts on fire.
My cousin learned a lesson from that one.
I've heard stories. I haven't seen it happen. I think my brother was like going to try to do it once, and I talked him out of it. And I was like, I just feel like it can go really bad too.
It can.
Like, I don't think we want to go to the ER with that particular symptom.
Yeah, no doubt. No, my cousin used to do that all the time. It was like kind of like his party trick. And yeah, I watched it go wrong.
Did he get all the girls with it?
No. We just laughed at him. There's no chicks around when you're doing freaking.
I hope not, but there are some guys that would think that would be cool.
Well, no, I mean when you're that immature, there's no chicks around at that point. They're like laters.
Well, there were chicks somewhere probably, but maybe not in the immediate vicinity.
Yeah, nah. They just smoked all her bud and went home.
Oh, rude.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think that wraps it up for our horror movies.
Yeah.
And our nostalgia for tonight. Anyway.
Yeah,
so we got to figure out. So should we dress up next week?
Well, let's touch down on it, because what I'm going to do. Okay, so I got the birthday weekend, and then I am going to, since it's too late to order anything, I'm going to hit up Spirit and see if anything tickles my fancy, and we'll go from there. If I'm like, I can't freaking find, a suitable costume or whatever, face paint type thing, then I'll probably be going naked. Well, I mean, not face naked.
I don't know how YouTube will feel about that.
But yeah, so we'll see. I gotta.
Yeah, I have to face paint one of my coworkers as Terrifier. He wants to do Terrifier. So I've got to do the makeup for that for him.
I can't watch freaking Terrifier.
Because of the clown?
No, I loved the first one, and then I met the guy in person for real, and I can't fucking stand him.
Oh, really?
So I refuse. David Howard Thornton. I refuse to fucking watch any of his shit now because he's such a fucking prick. Like, yeah, he's one of them people who like, I don't care if I lose fans. I don't, if you're not on my political party, then, and I'm like, dude, you're a freaking entertainer.
Okay, then.
Fuck your political party.
That's because he's popular right now, but,
Well, it was before even part 2 started. Like,
I know, but Terrifier became a hit, right?
it did pretty quick.
Yeah,
but it was still
Terrifier 3.
Yeah. Well, after the first one, we had him come out to the gas station, and he like went overboard. Like, so he was getting into an argument with a friend of mine, and online, and then he started like name calling, and I was like, whoa, come on, I can have a decent conversation about name calling and talking shit. And he was like, basically gave me the what for. And I'm like, dude, like, you post where you're going to be at conventions. Like, people will come see you.
That shit.
Yeah, like, dude, don't tell me you're going to kick my ass and then tell me where you're going to be next month. It's not going to work out.
Throw hands? You want to catch these hands? Catch Joe Breezy's mitts?
Yeah, catch my mitts, man. Come on now. There's no reason to take it to that level.
We're all friends here.
Right.
I won't be there to be like, no, everybody home.
Yeah. But so tomorrow, I'm thinking about, since it is spooky season, we're gonna do a dive into the Warrens. That's what I'm planning on. The good, the bad, and the ugly of it all. So I got to do a little bit of.
I think we're on the same page with that.
Yeah, I think we are too. But I'm gonna do a little bit of homework. Try to get my my timeline in check, and then that way we can actually like spot it, because it starts. Basically, their first famous one was the Amityville. We know how, a lot of us know how that goes. So we'll go from there.
Well, yeah. I'm trying to remember. They did just so much. And I remember the first book of theirs that I read. They actually introduced me to Dudley Town. So, after reading their book is how I found out about Dudley Town, and I became interested in Dudley Town.
Right. And that's the good, yeah.
So they're good gateways for different things. I don't exactly agree with a lot of their opinions, but we'll get into that tomorrow night. So join us tomorrow night, everybody, over on the Breezy Speakeasy, where Joe and I will be discussing the Warrens and how they think everything is demonic, and I do not agree at all. And I don't. And I don't think Joe does either. No. And we'll see y'all there. We thank you all for joining us tonight. It was a lot of fun. Go ahead and drop in the comments your suggestions for the spooky movies of Cucuy season. And I like the obscure ones. Drop some oddballs in there, some ones that you think maybe Joe and I might not have heard of. We all know the mainstream ones. We know Trick or Treat. We know The Howling. We know, all the good ones. I want to hear some of the crazy, weird, offbeat ones. Throw us some curveballs. Give us some ideas on those, because that's what we like to see. That's what we want to check out. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening in. And until next time, everybody.